Does your neck get tight when you do presses? Want a solution? Watch this.
First caller is Chris from British Columbia.
Chris, what's happening? How can we help you?
There's the thing, so first things first, I would like to thank you guys for all the knowledge that you share with me for free on YouTube as far as mobility and technique and all those stuff.
Great.
Now the thing is, I've been working out for the past couple of years, and no matter what I do, my traps, and it's always taking over when I'm doing shoulder press or bench press, and it's getting annoying because I cannot feel anything in my shoulder or anything in my my chest, not depending where it is, and I'm trying to see what approach should I have.
Okay, so you feel like your traps are overactive because you don't feel your shoulders, or because you feel
I think he's
tightness,
you tighten your traps the whole time.
Yeah, do you feel like tightness and stuff in your neck? What do you mean?
Yeah, the neck is always tight. The traps are always tight, and the thing is I cannot squeeze my shoulder blade properly.
Okay.
I get
what's happening. He's shrugging up and he's rolling forward when he's bench pressing. So you probably don't feel it in your chest at all. You feel it more in your shoulders and traps. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I would
common, by the way.
Yeah. You really what you want to do is you want to strengthen the opposing action. So a light row or a cable or a band row would be ideal for something like this, where you pull the shoulder blades back and down. Mm-hmm. Okay, so back and down, like you're trying to put your shoulder blades in your back pockets, and focus on that squeeze. So when you do a rep, what you do is you pull the shoulder blades back and down, squeeze, hold for 3 seconds, come forward with the repetition, and then come back and then repeat that and strengthen that particular movement. Now, when you do overhead presses, you can try to keep the shoulder what they call packed, but I would rather just do your overhead presses as you normally do. With your bench presses, you want to focus on your shoulder blades coming down and back to secure the position as you bench press. You may have to go lighter on the exercise in order to do that, but really it's going to be about strengthening the opposing movement, because what might be happening is the upper traps are stabilizing your shoulder girdle more because some of the other muscles that should be stabilizing aren't necessarily as involved as they should be. So it's just taking over.
I'd actually like to see him do a Z press instead of a traditional shoulder press. So if I would drop the shoulder press and do the Z press. I would make sure when you're doing the priming movements that Sal's talking about is to go really light. Mm-hmm. The mistake that some people make when they hear that is they do it the way they would train, like trying to get sore or build muscle. Like we're trying to retrain a recruitment pattern in this case, and so really taking time and going light and squeezing the position that Sal's talking about. So when he says put your shoulder blades back into your back pockets, you want to put emphasis on that. Like you could squeeze and hold for 5 seconds. So I'd have you as a client. I'd normally and I love to do a seated row, and normally take a client like you that's really tense and tight and shoulders roll forward, and I'd actually put my knee in your back and actually pull your shoulder girdle back so you could feel where I want you to go. And then I'd have you take a real light weight, draw it in, get into that position, and then I'd want you to get an isometric contraction where you squeeze real hard and feel those muscles back there for about 5 seconds, and then release out, then come back into that position. And we're using a really, really light weight. Mm-hmm. You could almost do it with no weight technically. So go light and really concentrate on that squeeze portion. Prime like that before you go into a more traditional movement like your bench press.
Yeah, just to add on to that, exactly what they said, but also too, I like the farmer walks that are more postural driven. So if you can, shrug your shoulders back to press your shoulder blades down, everything that they're saying with that, but hold weights at your side, maintain that posture and walk, and focus on just staying tense there in your back and your shoulder blades and keeping them down. As a priming movement as well to add in beforehand, and then keep strengthening and reiterating that strength in that position during seated rows.
Chris, do you have Prime Pro?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll send it.
I was about to, but I didn't know if I could help or anything, so
It'll definitely help you, and we'll send that to you. And in there's some shoulder and shoulder blade mobility movements that might help. Another good movement, this one actually might be the perfect one for you, is a prone Cobra. prone Cobra with no weight, just to work on that downward, what's called, retraction and depression of the scapula, just to oppose that upper trap movement and just develop some more stability in that direction so you don't feel so, quote unquote, overactive in the upper trap. So we'll send that to you.
Resist the temptation to want to go heavy on any movements right now. I really just work on the form, the technique, the squeezing and pausing in the position that we're talking about. We can really load later on. First, let's get you in the place where you can intrinsically hold yourself in that position without having to do these exercises, right? So that's the goal, is that you should be able to one day walk into the bench press and retract and depress naturally on your own and hold that position without anything. So until then, when we're priming and we're doing these movements, stay light, stay really light, and really focus on the technique more so than trying to load the bar.
I was just wondering, do you think that kettlebell halo could help or not?
Yeah, you got to do more correctional exercise.
Yeah.
I really think prone Cobra is going to be your bet, and those really light cable rows.
Prone Cobra, handcuff with rotation, wall circles, all these things are in Prime Pro, by the way. So Prime Pro's got these movements in there. Follow the stuff, like Sal's saying, that's regards to your shoulders, and those movements that are in there. Stick with that. We're sending it to you for free. So start following that, and then report back to us after you've been doing that and how you feel.
So yeah, I'm gonna follow what you guys say, because I know that all those mobility stuff, you guys know more than
anybody in the world.
Yeah, so
all right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for calling in. Thank you.
Good luck, Chris.
Yeah, this highlights something important, which is two things.
I was
know more than anybody in the world.
But,
no, you know what this highlights? This highlights that the fact that you can do an exercise that's supposed to work something and say, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do because I know I'm supposed to work on this."
Yeah.
But do it in such a way where it does the opposite, right? So I see this with clients where I'd get a client, same issue. Oh, my neck is tight, whatever, and I'd have them do a row. And I'd put them in the right position, like you said, Adam, and I'd squeeze their shoulders blades down and back for them, have them feel what it feels like. Then I'd let go and I'd say, do 5 more reps on your own. And they'd go right back to doing it the wrong way. And what happens when you do it the wrong way is you make your problem worse.
Yeah.
You're doing the right exercise, but you're doing it in a way to where it's going to make your problem.
This is why I kept saying
reinforcing it.
This is why I kept saying the weight thing too.
Yeah, you got to go really light.
Yeah, because if you make the weight challenging at all, and you're that
back to your
you're that person you're talking about, they're going to fall right into that trap. Like if you can't hold it in that position with little to no resistance, adding a bunch of resistance is going to make it worse.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that, but also to your point of having to kind of manually press their shoulders. That's why I was
you're walking,
bringing up weights to hold the size. So
that makes a lot of that. That makes a lot of sense, because now you're using gravity to help put them in the right position. So that makes sense that is the thing that makes sense to load. So I guess that's a good point. We have
to be able to.
You don't want to load something that is pulling the body back into the position that you're trying to work yourself out of. But if you can load the body in a position that's going to be advantageous to the position you're trying to get to, that makes sense, which is what you recommend.
Well, the counter to that is, when you're holding a heavy weight, even in a depressed position, gravity means that the upper traps still have to stabilize, right? You're still activating the upper traps, but the counter to that counter is they are activating, but they're activating in a lengthened position.
Yes.
And so a lot of people think that because a muscle is tight, that means it's stronger. No, it oftentimes means it's either weaker or it's only strong in a shortened position. So sometimes, like a farmer's walk, what it would do is it would make the trapezius get stronger in that lengthened position. Now his body feels a little more comfortable stabilizing.
So it doesn't automatically fall back to that shortened tense position. So you have to be able to train to get your body acclimated to that.
Totally. But I mean, I used to see people do this all the time. You can do rows, which are supposed to fix your posture in ways that
do them wrong,
to make your shoulders come forward. Exactly. So it's about how you do the movement.